Hello everyone, welcome back to That FPL. Today we are going to be doing a video reacting to the Champions League quarter-final draw, as well as the semi-final draw, which is kind of a weird one. Also going to react to the Europa League quarter-final draw. Today I'm joined by Rod, as always. How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Oh, I'm breezy, mate. Absolute breezy. How you doing, Jack, as well? We're joined by Fieldzy. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Always good to make an appearance.
You're like a super sub, you are, Jack. You're like Chicharito back in the day, 2014.
I come in for the big games.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I mean, the round of 16 was a bit crazy. I think we had quite a few shocks in there from what the mainstream would have been. Anything which really stood out to you, Rod, in the round of 16?
Scott Carson getting a clean sheet, mate.
Yeah, that is that's one of the great wonders of the world, son. What about you, Jack?
Some real good games, some upsets, some really thrilling games. Mainly speaking of the PSG Real Madrid game, where I've never seen a team bottle it so much as PSG. But overall, I thought there were some interesting games and some upsets as well. It's always good to see a few teams that aren't usually there in the quarters make it through, even though that's probably as far as they'll get. But it's always good to see.
Yeah, I was going to say Manchester City then. But Rod's just got me on a mad one right now. I just can't stop smiling. I thought when you said there was some exciting games, you were going to say the second leg in Manchester City against Sporting, Scott Carson. Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place. But yeah, I mean, I think the most surprising ones were probably Villarreal picking up the 3-0 win in the second leg against Juve away, and Benfica definitely getting that 1-0 result in the second leg, taking them through 3-2 on aggregate against Ajax. I think the one which was a bit of an upset, but not really, I think a lot of people saw it coming, was the United exit. Rod, for you, were you surprised by the United exit?
I think so. I thought United at the big games they tend to do quite well. They've got some serial winners. They've got some big players. I thought that would be enough to carry them through to the next round. I didn't manage to catch any of the games, but from what I've read, Atletico deserved to go through. Am I right in saying that?
Yes. Just on what you said then, some serial winners. I think you can say there's one serial winner in that United side, and there's quite a lot of fucking losers in it. I'm not talking about Harry Maguire. Oh shit, I am. But no, I think in terms of performance-wise, I thought Atletico deserved it, especially over the two legs. I thought there was a much better side, probably for 90 plus 45 minutes. I think the second half of the United, the second leg, first half of United was probably our best half. Still went 1-0 down. Yeah, I was really disappointed with United in this one. I thought they didn't show enough bottle. In terms of the game, yeah, Atletico deserved to go through. They're a much better team. I thought they showed some of their dark arts. I thought they were brilliant in that way. But I thought the referee was shocking in that game. I don't want to get into it too much because that man has pissed me well off. But like I said, no excuses. I think Atletico were the better team, deserved to go through. Jack, did you watch any of that game?
Yeah, I watched mainly bits of both games. I thought Atletico Madrid aren't as, I wouldn't say as feared and aren't playing as well as they have done in previous years, but they're still a very well-drilled team under Simeone. They probably don't have the threat going forward as much, but at the back they're still quite solid and tough to break down. I didn't think United were good enough to break them down, but I thought that it was closer than it appears, but I think that the better team went through at the end of it.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. I mean, just to round up these games, really, Jack, I just wanted to get your opinions on the Liverpool Inter game. Obviously, the two legs, I think it was kind of quite competitive over both of the legs. I thought the first leg was kind of ruined by that red card. I'm not sure if it was really a red card for Alexis Sanchez, and I thought it kind of swung the tie of the just swung the tie in general. I think after that, Inter going 2-0 down at home really put them in a tough position going to Anfield.
Yeah, both games were extremely competitive, and I couldn't pick a team that deserved it more over the two legs. Especially the first game, I thought it was very 50-50, and it looked like it was just going to be a 0-0 in the San Siro. And then they managed to get two quick goals, which really did sway the tie a bit, and it made probably Liverpool change their way they approached the second leg. A bit more conservative. They were quite unlucky. I think they hit the post and crossbar 3 times in that game.
Yes.
But and then that screamer of a goal really changed the whole game. And if that red card didn't happen, I don't know if they would have got another one or not. They did look dangerous in that game, and I wouldn't have put it past them to grab another. And who knows? But the red card did change the game, and then from there, Liverpool just controlled the ball. Yeah. So it was a bit of a squeaky game. I was a bit nervous in both games, but luckily we got through.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I thought Inter really kind of bossed the first leg, especially in spells in the second half, just before Liverpool went 2-0. Yeah, I was disappointed in the second leg, just because I thought Inter were really coming into the game. Obviously, they got the one goal with Martinez, which was probably one of the goals of the round, if not the goal of the round for me, just off the top of my head. But yeah, Rod, did you catch any of the Liverpool Inter games?
I did, mate. I was impressed by Inter, to be completely honest. Didn't really know what to expect from them, as I don't really watch much Italian football, but I thought they were brilliant. Martinez was a bit quiet in the first game. Second game, he was quiet up until around 60 minutes, then he kind of turned up the gas, scored a brilliant goal. But in general, I thought obviously over both ties, I'd say Liverpool maybe slightly better, but I think Inter definitely gave a good account of themselves, and on paper, I'm a big fan of the Inter team, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of good talent. I thought they missed Barella quite a bit in the Champions League. Obviously, I didn't watch Serie A hardly at all, to be honest. If there's a game on and nothing else is on, I'll be sure to check it out. But I know Barella's a top quality player. I thought that certain players of Inter were really good, though. I think... what's his name? Brozovic, the CDM. I thought he's brilliant. I thought Dzeko he doesn't look like the player he used to be. I thought he kind of let Inter down in the first leg, but it is what it is. Next time, let's do Real Madrid versus PSG. Rod, I'll start with you.
Mate, we were chatting about this before, and to be completely honest, I don't think Real Madrid half the team they were a few years ago, and PSG probably should have finished the round in the first game. I thought they could have easily won that 3 or 4. They only had the one goal coming into the second game, and I was disappointed by them not taking it by the scruff in the next second game, getting the goals which they probably should have got. They had a few offsides, and then it seemed a bit weird because Real Madrid scored the first goal out of nowhere because they were poor for both games, to be honest, and then PSG I think they forgot how to play football, and somehow they completely choked it and bottled it when that team is one of the best teams on paper I've ever seen. It's just filled with talent and ability, and I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Real Madrid. I don't really think they showed much throughout the whole tournament so far, and obviously now they've got a big game coming up. But overall, I don't know. I wanted PSG to win purely for my love of Messi.
Oh God, I couldn't disagree with you more. Like I wanted them to go out so much. It wasn't because I dislike Messi. I just disliked the way they kind of just their team is just. I couldn't tell you if they had one homegrown player in their squad. To be honest, I felt like PSG did what PSG do. To be honest, because they're serial bottlers at this point, and I think if I was someone who was running the club, I think you got to be looking at a change in direction, going away from signing all these superstars per se, like Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. Yes, great players, and you got to look at the list of the squad. It's just unreal, like you said. I think what they need to do is start looking at bringing more players in from their domestic league rather than signing players from abroad. I think they have a side which is kind of lost in a way that the way Messi and the way Mbappe and Neymar play, you know, kind of quick on the counter attack, doesn't really suit Messi in my opinion. And yeah, I was very happy with the fact that Real Madrid won. I thought it was an absolute highlight for one of the most underrated players of all time in Karim Benzema. I thought just what a game he showed. I thought Vinicius Junior was really good as well in the second leg, and I wasn't as I thought Real Madrid did show quite a bit of quality, especially in the second leg. I think you know, I think at the end of the day, it's probably more PSG lost the tie rather than Real Madrid winning it. But I'm not too, I guess I'm not too down on Real Madrid like you are, Rod. But Jack, any impressions and you know, what did you make of it? Do you agree with me that it was Paris losing the tie and not Real Madrid winning it per se?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Real Madrid bossed either of the games until like the last 20 minutes, and I do agree that 20 minutes was more that PSG were just shell shocked and all over the place and didn't know what to do or where to kick a ball. And I'm glad that PSG went out as well, because I really don't like them as a club, the way they run and their attitude that they can just sign whoever they want. But I just find it funny that they sign all these big players to win the Champions League. That I think it's like they're bottlers in it because of the amount of pressure they probably put on themselves. Because their domestic league is pretty piss poor. They win it most years, apart from, was it last year? Their whole season comes down to the Champions League in a way. That's all. And then when it comes to it, they just sort of buckle under the pressure. I didn't think Real Madrid were amazing against them. I thought PSG were a lot better. But that last 20 minutes, they just completely got how to kick a ball. And it's to do with, it's the management, and like the players have complete power over the manager. So even if one goal went in, I'm not a top manager, but I would have been looking to bring off one of the strikers and just really settle in. But probably Poch was scared that he can't take off one of the big three, or else he'd get the sack, or the players would like being up, taken off. Like, it's just completely the wrong way of running a club, and I'm happy that Real Madrid went through.
I think it's another one as well. Like, I know what you're saying in the way that, you know, as a manager you want full control, but I agree that Poch probably doesn't have that. But I think it's another sign of Poch maybe being, I think he's a good manager, but is he overrated? I mean, the guy, I think his crowning achievement will be that comeback against Ajax with Spurs. He hasn't really won anything, has he? I thought he did a good job at Southampton, but you know, failing again with PSG, not good enough. I mean, there's no point really talking about Man City against Sporting, Rod, unless you wanted to give me some insight on Scott Carson's amazing performance.
I thought he's a credit to Manchester City, Mr. Carson. I thought he conducted himself very well on the football pitch, and it was nice for him to get the appearance that he's been working all his life for. That's about it, I think.
I'm pretty sure he's played for England, right? And this is his crowning achievement, playing in the Champions.
He's Villa legend as well. We've got to remember that.
Oh yeah, he used to play for Villa. Yeah, man. Man, he's so old. He looks older than he is as well. Like,
he's only 36. He's the same age as Modric.
That is bollocks. He looks like fucking 48.
Pep does, mate.
Mate, he's so grey. Yeah, but anyway, Chelsea as well. I thought. I'm not sure if you guys saw the game or not. I thought Chelsea, you know, probably. I didn't really see the first leg, but the second leg, I thought LOSC were a bit unlucky. I don't think it was Chelsea at their best, and I don't think they have been at their best this season. And I think the best is still to come from them. Other ones to touch on. No point touching on Bayern, just dominated Salzburg. But I think Juventus against Villarreal was an interesting one because of, you know, it was 1-1 after the first leg. I didn't really see much of the first leg, but the second leg, I thought Juventus looked on fire to start with. They had quite a few chances. I think their new signing Vlahovic was looking good. And then all of a sudden, Villarreal get a penalty in the second half, I think. And I think it was either Capoue or Coquelin got fouled in the box, and the game just turned then. Juventus didn't really create too many more chances after that. Villarreal were able to catch them on the counter-attack, and they have got one of the most deadly strikers in Europe, in my opinion. In Moreno, I think he's a real quality striker. He really damaged United in the Europa League, even when he's not scoring goals. I think. Oh no, in the Champions League group stage, he was good as well. But yeah, even when he's not scoring goals, he's definitely a handful. It's kind of a weird one with Juventus. They're really struggling in the league as well this season. They're 7 points off the top. They're in 4th place. What do you think's going on, Rod?
They sold 2 serial winners in Kulusevski and Bentancur.
Mate, you're on a piss take today, bro. You got me in creases.
I'm joking. I don't know. I think they've just got a bottle job mentality. I mean, Allegri's come back in. I was chatting to my friend who's got a Juventus season ticket, and she wasn't too sure on Allegri. She wanted to keep Pirlo.
What is this, right? Rod goes every week. He's on the show, right? He goes, "Yeah, I've got a mate. He's Leeds fan. He was talking to him. I got a mate, Brighton fan. Now all of a sudden he's got a mate who is a Juventus season ticket holder. Who the fuck are you, Rod, man?
I'm Pitbull, but with a mask,
Mr. Worldwide.
Precisely. But I don't know. It's Villarreal. They surprised me. I mean, winning 3-0 away to Juventus, that's a huge result for them. And on paper, I think probably Juve's team's better, but I don't know. I'm completely surprised by that tie. I thought when I saw it when it was drawn, I was like, okay, Juventus are going to probably come through. And obviously, we've always known Juventus to be in the last stages of the Champions League. But I mean, losing 3-0 at home to Villarreal, I think it's a bit of an embarrassment on their part. And I don't know. I think the overall quality in the latter stage of the Champions League this year is just a bit less. But I'm sure we'll get onto that shortly.
Yeah, why not? Chad, did you see much of the Juventus Villarreal game?
I watched highlights and I thought that, like you said, Chad, I thought Juventus started quite well, and I thought they were gonna, from the early stages, thought that they would go through as a formality. But it's just that the game changed so quick with those penalties, and then, like you said, hitting them on the counter attack. It just completely took Juventus by surprise, and I do feel like maybe over the 2 legs, it was a bit more 50-50 than the 4-1 aggregate suggests.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. Like, to say it was for a 4-1 game, I think he's kind of a bit out there. And to be honest, 3-0 in the second leg was a bit of a weird one. They just capitulated in the end, Juventus, Jack.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought they just gave up a little bit and just didn't know what hit them. And but I thought that over the 2 legs it was very 50-50.
Yeah.
But going on to what Rodion said, I do think that the talent of the teams this year going into the quarterfinals is a bit less. I feel like.
I'm not sure. I think you're right in a way because of some of the teams in Benfica and Villarreal maybe being in there. And maybe if it was United in there, just because it's big name players, you might be saying something different than Ajax. But I think it might be because there's 2 teams who are so dominant in this. Other than Chelsea, I know they're the title holders, but with City and Liverpool in there, to see the drop off to the other teams, it's kind of crazy. But let's get on to the draw, which happened earlier on today. Let's start off with the first game, should we? Chelsea against Real Madrid. I think this is the tie of the quarterfinals for me. Oh, sorry, Rod. I keep forgetting after because we haven't got our cameras on. We got to introduce each other. But Rod, what do you think about this draw?
So obviously we had this draw last year in the semi-finals, and then Chelsea won on aggregate 3-1. And I'm forecasting a similar result. I think Chelsea are probably the better team. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on at the club right now, but as we've seen in the league, it hasn't really seemed to faze them, or in the Champions League either. They get on with their jobs and they conduct themselves very professionally. And on paper, for me, I think Chelsea have got a tremendous team, and it's, for me, better than Real Madrid. And obviously, we've seen in the last few games, Kai Havertz has switched it up a gear. I mean, they've got serial winners like Jorginho, Thiago Silva. in there. A brilliant defence.
Serial winner? Can you call Jorginho a serial winner yet? I mean, I guess you could. Champions League, Euros. It just seems too early. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that, but obviously he's got that mentality. He's got some trophies. So, to be honest, I think Real Madrid are going to struggle. The first game is at home for Chelsea, and that will play a big part. And I think Chelsea managed to win that tie, the first game, quite clearly even. I think they won't struggle in the second game. So I'm going to go with a Chelsea going through with ease, 3 or 4-1 on aggregate.
Really, I think that's kind of crazy because I think the opposite to you. I think playing as the away team in the first leg really gives you a big advantage. You know, having the other team, you know, being able to set up. You know, there's no away goals anymore. You know, if you can keep the deficit to a minimal, you know, like Real Madrid did with PSG. You know, 1-0, you're still in the tie then. I think it's the same for a lot of the other tie with Atletico. I think it's very similar, and I think with Chelsea going to the Bernabeu. Could be tricky. I think in terms of Real Madrid squad, I think they just got some really good young talent in there, as well as some brilliant. I don't want to say serial winners because you've already said that. So add in something else. But yeah, some of the players in that team, you got to look at the likes of Luka Modric being there, done it all, got the t-shirt. Same with Cruz, Benzema. You know, it's a quality team, and then you got to look at the young talent who's coming through there. They got Camavinga, Vinicius Junior. You know, just I think it's a squad which has really gone under the radar, just because of, you know, I think in the past few years losing the likes of Ronaldo, who was such an iconic figure there, and, you know, as one of the, not having a player in the squad who you can say is the best player or argue they're the best player in the world at the time. I think it's kind of like given Real Madrid this kind of like underdog feel to most people. I think a lot of people write them off because of that, but for me, I actually disagree. Rather, I think that they're in this tie, and I think they keep it tight in the first leg. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, and they could go to the Bernabeu and pick up a 2-1 result. So do the maths for me. I'll go 3-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. What do you think, Jack?
I think it's a tricky one to predict. This one out of all the fixtures, is probably the easiest, the hardest one to get the right score for. But I do think that Chelsea and Tuchel is such a well-drilled team that, and I feel like that Benzema with the 3 centre backs formation. I feel like with the 5 at the back, Benzema could get marked out the game in a way, and then it's more on the wide players, maybe Vinicius Junior, to really make an impact. So I think the wide players for Real Madrid and the midfield battle with like maybe Kante and Kovacic or Jorginho, like how they mark Modric, who is probably one of the best midfielders in the world at the moment.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one, and I don't think Chelsea will concede many. So I think I can see it being a very tight game over 2 legs, and I'd probably go something like 2-1 Chelsea over the 2 legs. A very tight game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be one team just runs away with it, in my opinion, anyway. But that takes us on to the next game, City against Atletico Madrid. Atleti just knocked out United, so I guess if they win it, we went out to the winners, but I don't think that'll happen. However, I think you made a really interesting point there, Jack, in the Real Madrid-Chelsea game in terms of, you know, can they mark Benzema out of the game? And I think in the Atletico United game in the second leg, I think you saw that with Ronaldo, 3 centre-backs. You know, Ronaldo had to keep drifting side to side to try and pull him out. Didn't really work. I think with City, though, the fact that they don't have a traditional number 9 really suits them in this game. I think United's best spell really came when we saw our fullbacks coming up as well and was playing a high line, and that's just how City do it. I think it could be a troublesome one for Atletico Madrid, especially at the Etihad. and it's kind of nuts because I fancy Atletico for some reason, but I think City are one of the favourites for it. But like my head's saying City's going to do this game, but I just see Atletico maybe getting a 0-0 at the Etihad and maybe pinching it at the what's it called again, Rod?
The Wanda Metropolitano.
That's the one. Thank you very much. But yeah, I could see them nicking it there. Yeah, in terms of Atletico Madrid, I think they do lack something which I think you need to beat City, and that's just like someone on the break with raw pace. I don't really think you could say that about Griezmann or João Felix. I think they've got some really good players. I think Rodrigo de Paul's going to have a big role to play in this game. I thought he was a bastard against United, to be fair. But I think in general, that's the kind of way Atletico play. You know, they're the sort of team you want your team to be, but absolutely despise them when you're playing against them. You know, Rod, I think you probably see this tie a lot different to me in terms of the result. I'm going to go for... it's hard, man, because City not scoring over 2 legs is kind of crazy. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go 2-1 on aggregate, and it will be 2-1 in the second leg for Atleti. What do you think, Rod?
So, obviously, I looked at the La Liga table earlier and didn't realise Atletico were 4th. And I don't think they are the team they were, I think, last year when they won the league. I don't know what's changed, to be completely honest with you. I don't really keep up to date much with Spanish either. But I can't see City struggling here. I think they're gonna dictate the game. I don't think Atletico have it in them to catch them on the break. Mainly due to City, they don't really play a high line. I think City are going to win it quite comfortably. And I wanted City to get Bayern so they could actually potentially go out of this round. But I can see them beating Atletico on aggregate 4-1, I think.
That's the thing for me as well. It's like all the signs lead to me picking City, but my gut's just telling me Atleti can do it, man. I don't know what it is. To be honest, I fucking hate them at the moment. And, they really piss me off in that tie. But I was going to say, yeah, that's the thing, right? City are going to dominate, especially the home game, and large majority of the second leg as well. And in my opinion, I just think it's a dumb pick. It's like one of those bets when you're just trying to bring in a big stack. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Jack, what do you think about this tie?
I think on paper it's Atletico Madrid a team that City would want to play against. So they just sit back. They're quite well structured at the back, hard to break down. But I just see it going that City will just hold the ball for long periods of the game, and I just don't think Atletico Madrid have the players to counter-attack and cause them much damage. So it'll be just typical City play. They'll keep the ball. They'll keep trying to prod it into the 6-yard box and get a goal. And every time Atletico Madrid come to counter-attack, that they just won't have the speed or the build-up play to get through City. So I can see it being a close game, but City dominating both legs, if that makes sense. I'd probably go something like 2-0 Manchester City.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably fair enough. And, like, if I was to do with my head prediction what I actually think the score would be, I'd probably say something like 3-0 City. But my gut is telling me 2-1 Atleti, so I'll stick with that. But I think it is written in the stars that we get a Liverpool City final in which, you know, Jurgen and Klopp can finally settle, you know, who's the best and which team is the best. Because I think, you know, despite City being the most probably dominant team for, you know, large majorities of the past decade, I think with Liverpool winning that Champions League, it kind of does really level the playing field for me. And I think to settle it in the Champions League final would be something special. But Villarreal against Bayern Munich, I actually like Villarreal a lot. I think they got some really good players. I like Dan Juma. He was at Bournemouth last year. He did really well, and he looks quite good since going to Villarreal, in my opinion. I like Moreno up top as well. I thought Capoue, was it Capoue? It might have been Capoue. I thought he was brilliant when we played them at Old Trafford this year. He's just, I know he was kind of shit in the Prem, but he just looked good for him in the in that game. But yeah, for me, Bayern have still got a lot of quality. Young talents like Jamal Musiala. Well, how do you say it?
Tika Masala.
Tika Masala, yeah, Jamal Tika Masala, the British German player, if there is such a thing. Alphonso Davies, I think, is just getting better and better. And Lewandowski just doesn't seem to be slowing down. So yeah, it'd be hard for me not to pick Bayern in this one. So I'll go 5-1 Bayern on aggregate. What do you think, Rod?
Yeah, so I'm a big admirer of Bayern. I think they've got some really, really good players, such as Sabitzer, Upamecano, obviously Kimmich, Sane. Like you said, Lewandowski doesn't seem to have lost it. Muller, big game players. So I do see Bayern. I can see Bayern winning quite comfortably. I mean, I've said this for all of the ties and who I've predicted, but I think I just speak some facts here in saying Bayern have a world class team, and I think they'll brush aside Villarreal. I don't think it'll be as easy. I think the first game will be quite cagey, obviously Bayern being away, but I think on aggregate it'll be 3-1 Bayern.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, I agree. I see it being a bit easy for Bayern in a way that they're such a world-class team at the moment that I see them beating the majority of the teams, whoever they draw, whoever they would have drawn if it wasn't Villarreal. And I just think they're so strong at the moment that I don't think real Villarreal will have much of a chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they'll just dominate the games and even in the first leg just blow out the water. I don't know how I can predict anything other than maybe a 4-1 Bayern. Maybe Villarreal get one goal, but I can see him making it way through into the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. And Bayern, Benfica against Liverpool. I think there's only. Benfica have got a couple quality players as well. I think it's Darwin Nunez, Uruguayan striker. He was linked with West Ham on deadline day. It didn't end up happening. He scored the winner against Ajax, and I thought Ajax really dominated that second leg, and I think they was really unfortunate not to win it. And I'm really disappointed as well because I would have liked to have seen Ten Hag go up against Klopp. I think Ajax against Liverpool would have been a really good tie. This one's just not that tasty in my opinion. I think Liverpool as well, being the away team, going to Benfica, you can see them getting a couple of goals away and just seeing out the tie at home. So I'll go 3-0 on aggregate to Liverpool. What do you think, Fieldzy?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect draw for Liverpool. I think that playing away first, I think is a big advantage that they could get a couple of goals playing away.
Yeah.
I think it's big that Luis Diaz, he's probably played against Benfica quite a few times, probably bagged loads of goals against them already. I can see him doing it again. I just see it as a bit of a, don't want to jinx it, but a bit of a formality for Liverpool, like the easiest draw that they could have got. It's a bit of a ticket into the semi-finals in a way. The way Liverpool are playing, I can't see Benfica really troubling Liverpool too much. Yeah. I think the Inter game was a harder game, in all honesty, and I can see Liverpool going through maybe 4-0.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Rob, Jack's just jinxed Liverpool, so Benfica are going to go through.
So, I think this is the tie Liverpool wanted on paper.
Yeah.
It's probably the easiest team in. I'd say Villarreal probably better than Benfica. So it's probably the easiest team left in. Doesn't mean it's going to be a formality, but it more than likely will be. And this, I think, with Liverpool's momentum in the league, if they can sustain that up until this game, I think that will carry them through quite easily. And I imagine, they'll go through to the semi-final.
Yeah.
So on aggregate, I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go 4-1.
Okay. 4-1. So as a majority, I think you and Jack really agreed on most of the ties. I'm the one who's kind of just going out there with my feelings and picking teams. So if it was to go how you guys say, it's going to be Manchester City against Chelsea in the one semi-final and Liverpool against Bayern. Two great semi-finals, actually. I think with the quarterfinals right now, with Benfica and Villarreal being in there, kind of waters it down a bit. But I think it gets real tasty when we get to the semi-finals. And early predictions on that, I guess. Obviously, we'll do a video after the quarter-final stage has ended. But voice crack. But any early predictions, Rod? Just obviously, if it's to go the way you see, it'd be City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, Bayern.
I think phenomenal ties if it is how I predicted. Man City, Chelsea in the semi-final, absolutely brilliant. I'd say probably City. I think Pep's just going to go back to basics. Hopefully, not have a repeat of what he did in the final, which he kind of went against everything that he believes in and played with no defensive midfielder, and that cost him big time. So if it does go that way, I think City win, and then the Liverpool Bayern one's is a tremendous fixture. I'm really not too sure about that. I think it's going to be very, very close, and I think Bayern, they've been in this position a lot, so I'll probably go if that tie did materialise, I'll probably go with a Bayern win. So a City-Bayern final, which would be a bit crazy.
Really? See, for me personally, I would say that Liverpool are more likely to beat Bayern and Chelsea are more likely to beat City. Just, I don't know. Just my head tells me. Even though, like, it's dumb, right? Because over a season, City have proven a far more superior team than Chelsea. But, it's just, I just feel like Chelsea tend to get a result against City. And, last season in the final, I think Tuchel came in and I think he beat like Pep 3 times in a row. But yeah, Jack, what are your opinions if it was to be City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, Bayern?
So I'm sort of in between you two, where I think overall be a City Liverpool final. I think that the Chelsea Man City game is not as easy to predict as it first appears. Like over the 2 legs, I do think Chelsea could actually beat them.
Yeah.
On paper, you see how far above City are on the table. Chelsea, even though they are still in the third, but I do think it'll be a real tight game. But I can see City edging it. The Liverpool Bayern one, I think, is a toss-up because it always is with like 2 top teams that don't really play each other unless it's the Champions League I think the last time we played Bayern, we beat them in like the quarters a couple of years ago, but that's the last time we played them. So it's really don't really know the way it'll go, but the way Liverpool are playing, I think that they might be a bit too much for Bayern, but who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a City Liverpool final.
Yeah, I think it's written in the stars, man. I don't really believe in like things are already set in stone which are meant to happen, but this one just feels like it. So yeah, it's going to be City Liverpool in the final if you go off what we say, which I definitely wouldn't, but either way. Just quickly now, boys, just before we finish off the episode, just wanted to get quick opinions on the Europa League. Not really to go in depth too much, but just a quick prediction of each tie. So I'll kick it off with Leipzig against Atalanta. I'm actually going to go with an Atalanta win over the 2 legs. I'm going to go with 3-2 Atalanta. What do you think, Rod?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 as well.
Okay. Jack?
I'm going to go 3-2, but the opposite. I reckon Leipzig.
Okay, fair enough. Frankfurt against Barcelona. You can kick this one off, Rod.
I'm going to go 2-1 Barcelona.
Okay, what do you think, Fieldzy?
Yes, it's weird saying that Barcelona are in the Europa League. It's really weird, but I reckon Barcelona 2-0.
Okay. I think Barcelona 4-1 over the two legs. West Ham against Lyon. I think West Ham get it done. I see them in the final this year for some reason. I just feel like it's meant to be. I'll tell you the final I think it's going to be after, but yeah, so I'll go West Ham 4-2. What do you think, Rod?
Mate, I'm of similar opinion with you. I think West Ham are going to go quite far, and I think they'll brush aside Lyon. So I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, same scores really on 3-1 West Ham.
Yeah.
And I agree. They do look really good at the moment and good enough teams go through to the final.
Yeah, okay. Braga against Rangers. I'm going to have to go with Rangers to win this 2-1 on aggregate. What do you think, Rod? Sorry.
I've been quite pleasantly surprised by Rangers, to be completely honest with you.
Loving it, I am. I love watching Rangers play at the moment.
Big results against, obviously, Dortmund and then Belgrade. So yeah, I think Rangers come out the other end of this tie. So I'm going to go 3-2 Rangers.
Okay, and you, Jack?
I reckon maybe 3-1 Rangers. I really like where they're playing at the moment, and it looks like they're just getting on a good cup run at the moment, beating some good teams quite handsomely in a way that they get a bit of momentum.
Yeah, so if they went, because me and Rod picked Atalanta, we'll say they went through. So we'd see Atalanta versus Rangers in the one semi-final, in which I would pick Rangers to win. And in the other semi-final, we'd see Barcelona against West Ham, in which I'd pick West Ham to win. And we have West Ham versus Rangers in the Europa League final. Oh, that would be a dream. What do you think, boys? So Atalanta versus Rangers and Barca against Lyon. I'll kick off with you, Rod. Oh no, Barcelona against West Ham. Sorry, go on, Rod.
It's actually a bit crazy to think West Ham will be playing Barcelona and it's not a friendly game. Potentially, of course. I think this is where I think Rangers
off the park.
I think this is where Rangers will struggle, and I think Atlanta will come out the other end of this tie with a win. And I think Barcelona will beat West Ham purely because of the experience they have in the squad. So yeah, for me it'll be a Barca Atlanta final, but I'd love to see a Rangers West Ham final.
Okay, Jack, what do you think?
I think that if it did come to a Barcelona West Ham semi-final, that would be quite an incredible game to see. But I reckon Barca would just do West Ham. I reckon, and I would love to see a Barcelona Rangers final.
That's good as well, you know. And I'd pick Rangers again. I'm picking Rangers to win the whole thing, and I hope they do it.
I'm picking Barca to win it, but a really tight final against Rangers.
Yeah, man, it is. I think either way you kind of split it. I think you're going to get really exciting ties in the Europa League. I think, you know, for these to be the last 8 teams, I think they've, it's a real boost for them. I think Barcelona are the only ones who are kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here? But there's something about the Champions League where I think it's going to really heat up in the semis, but something about the Europa League right now, it just feels tasty. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see us do anything, be sure to leave a comment below and we'll be sure to get to it. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.